are we going to call that a statement game made by the LA Rams that they're not dead and buried? The LA Rams are still very much alive in the NFC West with the performance they put on last night. Cooper Kupp was fantastic. Matt Stafford had a hell of a throw or a couple throws there. Yeah, well, listen, we'll get to those results later on.
Shoot!
We got to keep the audience waiting.
The team picked the field.
Listen, congratulations to the LA Rams. When Arizona started to turn the ball over and Kyler threw that second pick, or even after the first pick, it was like that seemed like a big moment in the game. And then the Rams took charge from there, and all that talent that they've acquired over the past couple of years seemed to show off on the grandest stage of them all.
Let's call it what it is, okay? For anyone who is watching, the very first play of the game, Aaron Donald set the tone. All right,
he did.
I'll tell you this much: it gave me flashbacks to when I was a young kid. And fortunately, you go in the playground, right? There's always going to be that one alpha dog out there. And I remember we were in elementary school. We used to go out, and they would combine like first grade, second grade, right, or third grade, fourth grade. Well, I remember my first time going out in first grade. And fortunately, again, I was friends with this kid, so he never gave me a hard time. But Gabe Manella, all right? Gabe had an older brother than him, and his older brother used to beat down on him. And guess where he took out that aggression on?
Everybody else.
Everybody else, man. And I'll tell you what, when you walked out to that playground, he was the tone setter. I don't know how that recess was going to go, but when Gabe was out there, he was going to dictate that. It was either going to be a good day at recess or a bad day based on Gabe's mood and how he felt. That was Aaron Donald last night, that first play of that game. He set the tone for the rest of the Rams.
What they do, like they shot him out of a launcher
Pretty
or
much.
something. I don't know. I thought it was a pretty intense start to the game. I mean, he put people on notice. Look, I know I've been singing Micah's praises, best in the game, dictates this. Maybe he was listening to our show.
Maybe.
He is from Pittsburgh. I mean, that schoolyard you're talking about, a lot of my cousins ran that same schoolyard. I'm sure they got stories about Aaron Donald. I tell you what, there go that man, and there went the Rams. I mean, here's the one thing I took away from it. The Rams seemed to have an attitude about them, and it wasn't. It was a tone that was set, and it seemed as though it's just, the way they're being discussed. Like, what are they? Are they any good? Are they going to melt down? Like, this is an Arizona team that is trending up, and listen, Arizona still almost figured it out. I think that there was some poor mismanagement at the end of the game. I thought that they should have worked a little harder to get a little closer to get a field goal. But nonetheless, however you look at it, they still got to a point of where they had a chance to tie this game. And it just makes me wonder. I know these are the two best teams in the NFC West. I know these are probably Arizona's probably 1A, maybe 2, maybe 3. Maybe I give them 3, but what do we look at the Rams as right now? Like, to me, I say it's Green Bay, it's Tampa Bay, and then it's Arizona, but Arizona just lost to the Rams, and the Rams are looking pretty good, and their record's pretty good. So it's like, how am I looking at the Rams now? Can the Rams overtake them? Can they overtake the Arizona Cardinals to win the NFC West? Or are we at that point?
Ooh, I like that. Hey, Jonas, do you have the odds for right now for the NFC West?
Let me work on those odds for you here.
It's an interesting question because I was thinking this at the beginning of the show. I was going to ask you guys, like, if you had to bet right now, and I think look, San Francisco's been playing good of late. I don't know that we think they're better than these two teams. If you had to place a bet right now, though, and I would assume Arizona's the favorite probably because the record and how many games we have left. I don't know, though. Outside shot, I might take the Rams. I think they're going to be the hotter team going into the playoffs when it's all said and done.
Just because of the last night? Just because of
I'm
that
telling
one game?
you, it's one of those feelings. It's one of those things like you watch like Tampa last year. They didn't have it until late in the season. Once they did, that momentum started building. That Rams team is going to be nasty, and they did it without their best quarterback.
I was about to say, and they did it missing a few guys as well, and that spoke volumes.
So let me ask you this. Whose schedule would you rather have down the stretch? For the LA Rams, they've got Seattle at home, then they're at Minnesota, at Baltimore, and then they've got the Niners. And then with the Arizona Cardinals, at Detroit, home against the Colts, at the Cowboys, home against the Seahawks.
I mean, that's the easier road.
Easier, yeah. Probably by, a couple games, you'd say?
Probably 2 games.
So
because we don't know how bad Lamar is.
Yeah.
We don't know how bad his injury is going to be, and that might change how you look at that Baltimore game, right?
Yeah. It certainly would change the dynamic
So
of that.
here's where we stand.
By the way, LaVar's got me. I'm like second guessing every time I say Lamar. I'm like, did I say Lamar or LaVar that time?
I was getting confused when you did it yesterday. I'm like, is he saying LaVar? It's Lamar.
Well,
is he saying Lamar? Is he saying LaVar to Lamar?
Now I'm becoming gun shy though.
Yeah,
now I'm like, I can't even say it without second guessing.
I believe I am literally the only person, maybe outside of Lamar's, that would be able to get through a conversation with Lamar and not say Lamar in place of LaVar. Or LaVar.
I could do it. But again,
we know.
It's
we know
that
you can
broadcast.
Do it.
I mean, but it's that solo stuff I do.
You're
It just
gonna
kind of
do
helps
it.
you
You're gonna
flex
do
your
it
muscles a
soon.
little bit. All right, here's the odds for the NFC West.
Here we go.
The Arizona Cardinals are a minus 800 to win the division, which is bet to 800 to win 100, so a significant favorite to win the division. The LA Rams are plus 550. So bet 100, win 550 in return. For those kind of odds, with the value you get in return, I would kick the tires on the Rams. Why not? I mean, if you're that questioning what the Arizona Cardinals and what that looked like last night on display, and you look at that and you go, well, maybe Aaron Donald just realized, I'm tired of this crap. I'm the defensive player of the year. I should be that every single year. And that was without Jalen Ramsey. Why not kick the tires on the Rams plus 550?
I'm going to tell you what's even more scary to think about. Is that Von Miller still hasn't found his footing yet with this team.
He's probably not going to. Let's just call it what it is.
He might. He just might. And I'm going to tell you why I think he just might, is because you're seeing his presence resonate with this linebacking core already. Like, make no mistake about it. You saw linebackers play at a very, very high level, a higher level than I've seen them play all season. And I don't think that that's by coincidence. I think that's by influence. And Von Miller, he shows he still has the ability to get to the quarterback. He shows the burst off of the ball. They're not playing him as much, so there may be a little bit of a backstory as to why he's not playing more than what he is. But I just got this weird feeling that he's going to catch on. And it's going to be at the time where they most need it
in the playoffs.
I'm telling. I just get this weird feeling that Vaughn is going to catch on. You cannot write a guy like that off. And then for Aaron Donald, it's so funny because we were on this show, and I'm like, all right, who are we looking at as contenders for this defensive player of the year? And I was like, we haven't been able to say Aaron Donald's name. And lo and behold, I mean, he goes out there, and I don't know that he puts himself in the MVP race conversation. But that certainly was a statement game in terms of applying your dominance to a game. He started the game off with a big play, and he ended the game with a big play. So they look pretty good.
Remember how this game, like the first matchup between these two teams, like Arizona beat the dog out in their house.
Yeah.
And this game, I know it was a one touchdown, one score game at the end of it, but it felt like it was a lot more distant than that.
It
like
was.
Even at tied at half, I was like, man, the Rams kind of feel like they're in control, though. Like, I don't know. This game gave me a lot different feeling than what I saw from the first matchup between these two.
Sean McVay talked about Aaron Donald afterwards.
That's what the best do. They play their best when their best is required. We talk about competitive greatness all the time. This guy's the epitome of competitive greatness. Really proud of Aaron. Not at all surprised, but he's a special player, special person, and you felt his presence from the very first snap and then to the last one, and he was outstanding tonight. If he doesn't win NFC Defensive Player of the Week, something's wrong.
Well, I mean, that's fair.
Player of the week. I mean that's
NFC. There's a start.
Those are the ones. Those are the ones you want. You got to have.
Hey, by the way, you're the last game this past week, of course. Yeah, you can make that statement now.
I know.
I mean, in retrospect. Well, hold on. What did Micah do?
I will say this: Micah Parsons.
What did he do?
It's not. You got a campaign these days. I think he had two sacks. He had like 7 tackles.
What do you get for Player of the Week? What is that? Like
you just get a player
like
of the
a
week.
coffee mug.
You get a pat on the back.
A belt buckle.
I think they have been giving out belts, wrestling belts.
Have they?
Yeah,
Really?
I think so. Yeah. You know,
You get a championship belt for Player of the Week.
I watch Micah
look
post.
at Jonas getting all excited.
You know, he gets a lot of awards, weekly awards these days.
Who, Micah Parsons?
Yeah.
Does? Well, where'd he go?
Yeah.
Did he go to college somewhere? You know, or?
Hey, man, I gave a shout out to LaVar. Talked about Micah on a show yesterday on a little CBS action for us.
What do you guys make of Arizona struggling at home like they do? They're undefeated on the road, but
some call them fool's gold, man. They always make me nervous. Yep. Are they going to turn out to be the Arizona Cardinals, or are they going to take a step forward? That's how I look at Arizona. At what point are they going to show us they're Arizona? And I mean, that might be right now.
Because we've seen it, especially last year, where late in the season they started to fold.
Yeah,
and a lot of that was, Kyler Murray was banged up late in the season last year.
He's banged up again.
Yeah, I mean,
he started hobbling around a little bit towards the end of that game.
I just think that's how he walks. I think he's got a different walk.
I don't know, man.
His limp?
He didn't seem. Oh my gosh!
I know what you're saying.
I didn't feel as though.
I'm just saying, like he's got a little bit of a strut.
Did you guys? Yeah. I didn't feel like he was as explosive as he usually is. Like in some of those pass rushes, I thought he might have scooted out.
I don't know, man.
There was a third down where he got flushed out of the pocket earlier in the game. And they were making such a big deal about Greg Gaines making the tackle, which the only reason Greg Gaines was able to cover down and make the tackle is because Kyler put such a move on Jones, the linebacker for the Rams, literally lost his jock strap somewhere on the 20-yard line. It was one of the best little hesitation stutters that he just jetted right by him. And then Gaines eventually, as he was stutter stepping, made the tackle from behind. It was a ridiculous move, and Kyler got no credit for it. And it's just he's so much fun to watch scramble.
He's so quick. I just wonder, is he for as quick as he looked last night? For me, I think he's looked quicker. He's looked more explosive, and I felt as though even on that last play, he would have been able to not only escape the tackle, elude the tackle, but he would have been able to elude an Aaron Donald and maybe get his feet set to throw it.
Well, he got through the first guy.
He did. He did.
Yeah, I'm done. Yeah.
So he did. I mean, he had the high ankle sprain, right? And so he came back last week, and or 2 weeks ago, or whatever it was.
Versus the Bears, right? Yeah.
Who
that
cares?
Tough defense.
And so he comes back from the high ankle sprain. Do you think he's 100%? Do you think he's 100% fully healthy?
I didn't think he looked 100. Like I said, he looked like he limped a few times around. Maybe he was getting sore, and I think that plays a major part. I guess the reason why I'm bringing it up is because I think this team is close to unbeatable if Kyler Murray does a little bit more. If he moves around a little bit more, I think this team. I think it's a different game against the Rams.
They missed their shots too. They had an early shot to A.J. Green. He got some pressure in the pocket. The cornerback fell down. And it was just one of those deals where he put it to the outside, Green looked to the inside, and they couldn't complete it. But they had their opportunities and shots last night. I don't know, man. Something about it felt like we watched the beginning of a heavyweight boxing match, and Mike Tyson came out and just right from the get-go started just throwing those haymakers, and that was it. You were oh, okay. This is going to be the Rams' night tonight.
It's Two Pros and a Cup of Joe here, Fox Sports Radio, brought to you by Discover. If you're a valued customer, you deserve a simple gesture of appreciation from your credit card company, and that's why Discover matches all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year. Discover, exceptionally common sense. Learn more at discover.com/match. Limitations apply. Coming up next, there is a story in the NFL. People are swarming. The vultures are swarming. There is one guy standing in the middle of it all trying to defend the honor of the organization. We'll get into all that for you next here on FSR.